What is up, and what is going on? Welcome to the second to last episode of this series. Please, I always forget to do this. Please do like and subscribe. It would help out so much. Hit that like button. I never remember to say it until the end of these videos, but please do. So this is going to be a Battle Frontier episode, or the Battle Frontier episode, I should say. First, we're going to start by getting ourselves a Delta Sceptile. So in order to do so, we got to get Delta Trico. And to do it, we have to solve this puzzle over here, which is stopping Delta Trico over here in the Holon grasslands. And yeah, use the Manaphy statue to do that. You hit the buzzer, Delta Trico tries to run, and then it gets stopped by that Manaphy statue, and then you can catch it. So you can see we're catching a Jolly one by us using a synchronized Gardevoir with Jolly on it. That way we can have maximum speed on our Delta Sceptile. Now I know what you're thinking. Sceptile is a special attacker. Why are you catching a Jolly one? That is because it gets the special ability Guts. So that's why we want to catch it. Plus it's going to be a Dragon Fighting type. And I don't think it gets Aura Sphere. So since it doesn't get Aura Sphere, it doesn't really have too many good fighting type special attacks to begin with. Plus, it does get Dragon Dances. It just gets a better physical kit than a special kit, although you can still use it as a special attacker. So you see, we just got Guts there at the Dream Tutor. And now we're going to get our Delta Volcarona. It's going to be a dark poison type with Levitate, which means that it has no weaknesses naturally. However, if it runs into something with Terravolt, I forgot what the fire version of that was called, or Mode Breaker, which is most likely going to be Escadrille, then it can actually be hit for super effective damage by Earthquake ground type attacks. That and the gravity field effect, which nobody freaking uses, so you don't really have to worry about that. Also, we're evolving our Trico into Delta Grovyle. Grovyle is one of the coolest Pokemon out there. Delta Grovyle is kind of cool. It's not as cool as regular Grovyle, but it does learn Dragon Breath. And then we're going to go ahead and complete that evolution line. You're going to notice that Delta Sceptile does not have a tail, and that is a meaningful change because it cannot learn Iron Tail, which means that it has no really good counters against fairies besides Poison Jab, and that is meaningful. That said, you probably still end up going with Poison Jab anyway, just because Iron Tail and Fighting and Steel just don't work out, or Fighting and Dragon just don't work out against Azumarill, so it's better to have that poison coverage, but it is something that you don't have. So, we're starting the Pokemon World Tournament. That is the most, I would say this is the most critical building in the Battle Frontier. We're going to be using a team of some pretty fast Pokemon. We're going to use Mega Eevee. We're going to start out with it. We're going to start with Psyshock normally, but here I think we might go with Scald instead. I don't remember what I did here. Alright, we did go with Psyshock. So the reason you would go with Psyshock is if you believe that you might be getting some type of field effect that requires a Magic Bounce, which Mega Eevee is super good at preventing. Again, we tried there, it didn't work out for us, but we're at an advantage at 2-1 as well, so we're not in too much of a bad position. This is a choice banded Delta, so it will be doing a ton of damage. Sorry, I'm trying to recall facts while I'm talking, and it's really hard to do. But yeah, this is the easy sweep. Volcarona comes in and it's just a freaking tank, even against a Mega Lucario. Alright, so Flint's gonna come out again, another Infernape. So we already know what we're gonna do here. This time we get the kill. Yeah, Magmortar goes down to once, Scald. And then yeah, we're just gonna follow up again. Typhlosion misses the focus miss. Good on us. And yeah, we can go ahead and take 0 damage during that entire battle. Yeah, the Mega Eevee sweep was powerful there. Last up, we have Will, the weakest member of Johto's Elite Four. We are going to go ahead and just Thunderbolt off that Xatu. Gardevoir is going to come out. We're going to... I'm not sure what we're going to do here because it's got a really good kit. We're going to Scald it, I guess. Ooh. Yeah, it sucks about that crit that they got, but I also got some hacks on my side. I'm going to swap out the Volcarona. And then we could just do anything. Corrode is the best move here, though, because it is Fairy type. And then we can finish this with Dark Pulse to, you know, finish out our first win. So that gives us a Novice rank and a 2-pass. A 2-pass lets us finish the Battle Frontier. We'll be doing that later on in the video towards the end. However, we can still do more challenges at the championship, which is actually going to be a much longer, more extended thing. So over there, I accidentally fly into the Cloud Bottle. That's where you can catch Delta Hoopa. That's a flying fairy type. Unfortunately, you can't use it in the Frontier. But what I was really gunning for was over here is Delta Auroras, or its pre-evolution. Really good Pokemon, Amaura. It is a grass water type, so no 4 times weaknesses, and it has a unique ability that's hidden called Phototroph, where it just automatically gains 1/8 HP or 1/16 HP every turn. Pretty strong, especially in conjunction with sunlight, where it gains double that. You just have to watch out for rain and darkness, where you're going to get none of that HP. But you can slap on a Big Root. You can use Aqua Ring, which was really good with Big Root. You can use Soak and Giga Drain, which is a stab combo that makes anything except for Sap Sipper. And there's like one more situation where it won't work. It makes you super effective. Oh, Liquid Ooze. You can't use it against anything with Liquid Ooze, but it's like a really, really good combination. Or I guess you can technically use it against Liquid Ooze. It would just hurt you. Yeah, there's Amaura. Such a cutie pie. And for this one, it will not evolve unless you level up during daytime. So you're going to see later on in the video that I'm going to get to like level 119. And it's going to evolve at level 120. But we got it. It's modest. We weren't really gunning for a hidden power because we don't need it. It's just a good Pokemon and overall. An even more tanky Ludicolo. So, now we're going to get out of here. And we're going to get Delta Maractus. I had high hopes for this Pokemon, but it did not live up to them. It's just not good enough to do anything, unfortunately. It still might be okay under Trick Room with Swords Dance. I haven't tried it yet just because there's better Pokemon for that. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that it is not great with like the gift shift gear. Like, yeah, it doesn't have enough punch. So yeah, now we're on our way. That's Delta Reggie still, by the way. Is if you want to catch it, you can catch it there. What we're actually here for is Delta Remoraid. And Delta Remoraid is a very, 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 very powerful Pokemon when it evolves into Delta Octillery, which gets the hidden ability Contrary. With Stab, Overheat, which is a great, by the way, a absolutely monstrous attack compared to Stab, Leaf Storm coming from Superior. And under Trick Room, it's just a monster. And it's, I think it has 105 base special attack. So much higher than Superior's, I think base 70-ish. Yeah, this thing is just a monster. You're going to see why later on in this video, but this Pokemon is probably the most powerful Delta in comparison with its standard form. Like, this is absolutely cracked. This thing is basically legendary at this point. Yeah, Remoraid is great. Make sure you get one with that 0-speed Eevee. I did have to catch it multiple times. You can only catch one, but I just had to reset every time I didn't get one with the 0-speed Eevee. I probably spent a few hours on that. So yeah, make sure you get one with the 0-speed Eevees in order to make sure that you catch it correctly. Because you want to be as slow as humanly possible. Because there are other slow Pokemon in the Challenge Championship. They might not be designated for Trick Room, but they're going to be slow enough to put you in a bad position if you're not slow. Alright, we're going to catch Spritzee. Spritzee can evolve into Aromatisse, and when Aromatisse has Aromaval, it's one of the better trick setters in the game because it can't be taunted. And also, it's not weak to dark like most Trick Room setters are, because most of them are either ghost or psychic. But here we are, our Amaura is evolving. Now we have a Delta Aurorus, which, look at that thing. That thing is freaking fantastic looking. Just on design, just like a Tropius, that thing is just fantastic looking. You could tell that this is a Pokemon they put time and love into. We get a Delta Munchlax. So, again, 0-speed Eevee. This thing is absolutely cracked. You want to, in your regular playthroughs, evolve it at level 50 so you can get Play Rough and Earthquake. We are going to pick up Earthquake here. Replace Rollout with it. We're not going to end up keeping Play Rough, but if you were using this after the 3rd badge, that would be the game plan. It is to keep it for later on in the game, because you do end up fighting a lot of dark types and dragons. Alright, we're going to pick up, we just picked up a 0 IV Reuniclite from the Game Corner. It only shows up on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And we're also picking up from London here in his house in next to town. After you've beaten him the 2nd time to Elite Four, you can get Reuniclite from him, and that'll allow you to have Mega Reuniclite. It's a good Trick Room setter. It can do most of what you want it to do. It can explode into somebody's face. It can regenerate if you don't Mega it. It's okay, but it still only sets Trick Room for 4 extra turns tops. Like, if you Mega Evolve turn 1 and then explode in their face, it's pretty okay. Anyway, now we are going to catch the actual best Trick Room setter in the game. This is Delta Foongus. So when it disappears, look for it, because it just camouflages itself. Again, we have to get it at the 0-speed Eevee. We're going to do what we can do. Hypnosis it. Even though it's a dark type, it's dark and ghost, it is susceptible to hypnosis. And you can see it takes me a while to catch this one as well. Here we are. By the way, I do have to use cheat menu in order to navigate any rock climb areas, because at some point I removed my follower, and on JY Play I am not able to reinstate my follower, and without a follower I am unable to use rock climb for some reason. Like, it always just glitches me out and breaks the game, crashes the game. So I have to use walk through walls in order to manually walk around any rock climb areas. But anyway, we're catching Bronzong. I thought it might be a good Trick Roomer, and it probably is okay. It has a fairy resistance, just in case I run up against a really powerful fairy that I can't handle with Delta Amoonguss. But it's not actually all that good on its own. It is very, very able to be one-shot, and because of that, you can't really use Trick Rock with it. Whereas Delta Amoonguss, almost nothing can one-shot Delta Amoonguss. The only thing in the Challenge Championship I found that can one-shot it is And I think this is definitely a range. It's Orion's Delta Aggron. Its Flare Blitz under Sunlight it's a range. I've been left with 14 HP out of 400 and some change, so just be aware of that. So we're going to change our Delta Snorlax into this pretty pink version using the Book of Leaves. There we go. We have adaptability. Don't forget that. That is important. If you want to get some rocks, you can get them here. We're going to get 2 extra Trick Rocks here. We don't really need them, but we need at least 1 in order to put it on Delta Amoonguss, because that is our primary setter. We're also going to try with Delta Bronzong, but later on I end up replacing that with a Focus Sash when I figure out that Delta Bronzong can definitely be one-shot, and therefore it's not safe to use with Trick Rock. So Trick Rock is really, really good to have because fights can last a lot longer than just 3 or 4 turns. You really want that full 7 turns. 6 to 7 turns to get your sweep off. Alright. So here, this is kind of the general idea. Although this one's kind of backwards, because normally I'd prefer to start with start better than that. So yeah, Amoonguss can come in. It can magic coat if it thinks the enemy's going to use something like that. Here, I can't really magic coat back a toxic, so I'm going to have to Trick Room. Pain Split is absolutely useless here. This is an earlier variant of this build, by the way, so yeah, you're just seeing me playing through it, learning how to play. Yeah, there I could have Destiny Bonded and been better off. But anyway, we're gonna try. And that's what I mean by Trick Rock being so clutch, because I had extra turns with Trick Room. Even though I wasted a lot of turns, I'm able to pull this off. So you have to be mindful. You don't want to ever actually magic coat against Hippowdon if you don't have to, because it can two-shot you with Earthquake. Wood Hammer on Snorlax is actually a really good combination, by the way, because it has so much HP to burn. And here, I just Destiny Bond, I'm pretty sure. Oh, didn't do it that time? Worked that time. And we get through it. That was a very, very close to the edge championship battle. I do much better later on. Alright, we're also going to get an Eevee here. This Eevee is going to have 21, but we're going to get a 0 IV later to correct that. And why do we want a 0 IV Eevee? Well, we want to make it our physical Mega Eevee. I didn't actually try physical Mega Eevee as a speedy variant, but there's no point to it because, let's see, the normal variant has 83 base speed. Flareon and Umbreon both have 65 base speed. And the fastest one, which is Leafeon, has 95 base speed, which isn't even standard OU tier, especially in Gen 6. So there's no point in trying to have a fast Eevee on the physical side. All their physical stats, all their defensive stuff sucks. So went with Trick Room, and I think it worked out pretty well. And you're going to see that later on. But Octillery suffers an unfortunate down, so that gives our Mega Eevee a chance to attack. We're going to start out strong with a Flare Blitz, and then we're going to follow up again Mega Beedrill is going to evolve, becoming faster, which does nothing for it in Trick Room, so it goes down. And just like that, Mega Eevee's got its first victims. And we're going to keep pulling on through with the physical Mega Eevee set, followed by a Abomasnow, Trick Room, then Destiny Bond or Curse, either one works. I actually prefer Curse more than Destiny Bond because then you get the bounce from Octillery going into +2 against a very weakened opponent instead of trying to one-shot a strong opponent potentially. But against the Ice type Gym Leader / Elite Four, it doesn't matter. We're able to one-hit both of his following Pokemon, or both of her following Pokemon, excuse me, with the Overheat. And then the finale, we're going to go up against Champion Alder. We do Trick Room here, which was a good call. It did not attempt to do anything with Magic Coat. We Curse here. It finishes us off with Shadow Ball, and that gives us an opportunity to look around, decide what we can use. Mega Eevee's on the docket. We go ahead. We're going to Foul Play it. Becomes Umbreon, doesn't do all that much damage. And then we have a choice here. I think Flare Blitz is the obvious choice, just in case. And it actually does enough damage to get the knockout. Now, we've got a Reuniclite. I believe that's going to be a Mega. We can Foul Play or we can Flare Blitz here. Here's the thing. It doesn't have a very high attack stat even when it Mega evolves. So, trying to use Foul Play against it probably isn't going to be too effective. Still, you can try it. And then last up is Chandelure. It has paper thin defenses, but Umbreon has high special defense, so we are going to use Foul Play here. And that works out just fine. And that's kind of just Mega Eevee's thing, just working around what you got. So we're able to take the championship there, and we can move forward from there. As of today, as of this recording, I am still veteran rank, but I expect to be ranking up soon because I figured out the secret sauce to kind of consistently winning these. Like, hacks could still make me lose, but I think I got a way to win most of this stuff. Alright, so we're going to catch Delta Golem. We're going to start with this Geodude form. Again, we need to get it at 0 IVs because it is going to be a Trick Room setter for us. It has Magic Bounce as a hidden ability, which is why you want it. So correct those IVs and we're ready to go. We're going to go down to the Witch Doctor's house after I figure out where it is. I'm going to try every house on this right hand side except the right one. And then use our rare candy. It's already level 50 when we catch it, so it's going to go straight to evolving into Graveler. Unfortunately, Delta Golem is not as unbeatable as Delta of Amoonguss is. It's got a lot of stuff due to its lower HP and special defense stats that can basically one-shot it. And I've even been one-shot by freaking earthquakes out of nowhere. So just be aware, there's a lot of common things in the Challenge Championship that can one-shot this. So you're never going to actually get a lot of... you're not going to be able to use Trick Rock with this. Not consistently. You have to use Focus Sash. But because you are using Focus Sash, you can just invest completely into your attack stat. And yeah, it could be a useful attacker, unlike Amoonguss. Amoonguss cannot attack at all. It can curse, it can Destiny Bond, but it cannot attack. Whereas Delta Golem can straight up explode in people's faces. I still don't think it's as good as Delta Amoonguss by a long shot. Because when it comes to consistency, especially after you know all the patterns, Delta Amoonguss is just 100 times better. Here I was thinking about just exploding in its face, because I know it's going to set up Trick Room for us. And I might have should have. Just so I have all 5 turns instead of, 4 more turns instead of just, at this point, 3. At this point, 2. Send out Delta Eevee. And it needs to clean house. Fortunately, it is slower than that Delta Golort. And last up is this Jellicent. Thankfully does not use Will-O-Wisp, or that would have likely been a loss for me. Alright, next up is Byron. So this is one of the better matchups because of Bastiodon. It wants to use Stealth Rock, it wants to use Taunt, and it can't use either. You can see, not exploding its face was the right move there. However, we are kind of falling behind on turns here. We are going to run out soon if we don't do something. Do I choose to explode here? Probably. Oh no, I don't actually, because it's resisted. Yep, and you can see that before my Octillery even comes in, we're out of turns. That said, we're not in the worst predicament, it just could have been better. And then last up, Bronzong, which gets one shot. Yep. And here we go, final battle against Norman. He's on Saw King, which isn't a big threat to us. Focus Sash does allow us to survive that earthquake, by the way. And after that, we can just explode in its face, and that gives us 3 turns to work with. We're going to start with Overheat. That's turn number 1. We're going to continue with Overheat. We're going to continue with Overheat. There we go. There we go. And then Kangaskhan's going to come out, and it's got a +4 Overheat to deal with. It can't deal with it. So I think even if that was a crit, it wouldn't have been able to deal. And just like that, we take another win. So you can see how the Delta Golem works there. Now, we're going to go into the Tube Challenge, which is kind of like the final obstacle in this Battle Frontier that you can deal with besides getting the level 51, rank 51 in the Challenge Championship. And yeah, this is just it's kind of just like a regular route if you want to think of it that way. It's kind of like battling your way through a route, but it's linear. You got to deal with a lot of powerful Pokemon. They're all level 115. They got a lot of shinies. A lot of people's like pet favorites here. So, yeah. But unlike normal, I get to use it a full team of 6. That I just don't get automatically healed afterwards, so it kind of sucks. You got to go back all the way out in order to get healed. And yep. I'm kind of annoyed. I'm kind of annoyed about that toxic that happened, but we do heal up afterwards. Revive our dead Amoonguss. And then, yeah, your PP doesn't get restored either. That is a big deal. And that's mostly why you have to go backwards, because you have to get more PP from the Challenge Championship. Yeah. I don't think you've seen me using Snorlax, or maybe you have seen me use Snorlax before, but either way, you have not seen Delta Bisharp yet. So that is a flying fighting type. A fantastic Pokemon. I just didn't use it during my playthrough. There's Delta Roserade. I don't know who John Bowden is, but apparently it means something to whoever created that trainer. Scizor, and put in the Delta Snorlax. Go down. And yeah, you can tell this team is like half sweepers and half setters, although Aromatisse can kind of double. And again, that Delta Golem is just so good at, especially if it has a bug type that's just kind of going to crush it. It's good. We got a shiny Mothim there. We take down a Ninjask. And we take down that Volcarona. We go get our first heal. See, I have issues working the yeah, not having rock climb kind of sucks right here, because having to manually walk through walls, yeah, it's just so slow, especially when I'm playing on controller. Like, that's not a natural movement to go from your controller to your screen to open the cheat menu, enable walk through walls, open it again, disable walk through walls. Like, it's so slow. It's not something I'm used to. I don't really use cheat menu during this game that often. Yep. Doing what we can to sweep here. I think this is like the ultimate bird catcher, it feels like. And here you see, I got a little bit more. And we're going to use PP maxes here in order to increase our PP, because, yeah, having to run back and forth to restore PP is sucking. Honestly, this team isn't really made for this kind of challenge. I don't think a team that requires intense setup like this is really made for it. Like, I think the best team you could use is probably something with, like, a lot of good stuff. And good stuff meaning value type stuff, like expert belt type stuff, maybe life orb. Along those lines would be a more sustainable team for if you wanted to try to do this all in one shot. But this is a good team in terms of countering almost all the megas, which are almost always just going to be faster versions of their normal Pokemon, which means that I get to just knock them out for free without even taking a hit most of the time. Moving forward, I am surprised I survived that, but I'm not going to look Giftaurus in the mouth. You can see that adaptability Wood Hammer is super strong. Even when resisted by Goodra, it's just a powerful weapon. I'm thinking about trying it with Choice Band in the Challenge Championship. We'll see. Right now I'm using Miracle Seed and it's okay. One thing is sometimes, especially if you run to like a Charizard or a Volcarona, you want to swap from using a grass technique, which is heavily resisted, and a lot of things resist grass 4 times, so it's not the same as using, let's say, adaptability on a water type move, where you're almost never going to run into a situation where something 4 times resists water. You often run into situations where something 4 times resists grass. So, adaptability is still it's probably one of the best abilities that a grass type attacker can get, just because of how bad grass is as an attacking type in general. But grass is not one of the best types for adaptability. Like, it doesn't work the same vice versa. But speaking of typing, grass and rock is just a phenomenal typing, and you're not going to see it this video, but the video after next, even though this is the second last video of this playthrough, I'm going to do a like semi-live stream of me trying to grind out level 51 to get Shadow Mewtwo. Yeah. Mega Pseudo-Widow is phenomenal, and grass plus rock typing is ridiculously, it's like so much better than some of its parts, because grass is probably the second worst typing in the game besides bug, and rock is a terrible offensive typing. It's an okay offensive typing, and those two things together are just freakishly good as a typing. It's not the same as this thing, which has dark ghost. Like, that's just out of here typing. It's not the same as dark poison. I guess dark type is just cracked in general. But it is a great typing, especially in combination. Now, yeah, this tube challenge is really just a long endurance run, honestly. It is just like, yeah, you're just struggling. It's just annoying. It's just nice to have something to do. But honestly, with the amount of battling you have to do just to unlock this thing, and the amount of battling you have to do at the challenge championship, it doesn't really feel like a big challenge, honestly. Because you can just leave and come back and then continue to slog, it just ends up feeling like a slog. That's all it really is. At the end of the day, it's just a slog. So we get this guy who is a unique trainer, Twit. He has his own unique art, which is cool. He knocks out our Golem in one shot. That's not cool. Our Focus Sash didn't have a chance to activate, though, because Golem wasn't at full health at the start of this battle. Iris Veil. We take it down with us. And then we're going to start trying to knock out his Pokemon. Here's an interesting thing. We can turn into Leafeon, which has higher defense. Weather to close combat, its defense is dropped, and then we hit it with a harder Leaf Blade, and then we turn into Flareon, which is slower than Hariyama, and then we move first because of Trick Room. We knock it out before it can hit us again. That is a really nice combination there. We're gonna spam Overheats out. I think we take this just for the free buff to get the +4. And yep, we defeat him, but now we're out of PP again. So, go back to the Pokemon Center, come back up, and the final trainer here. Shofu. I think Shofu was one of those guys who was coming up with designs for the Deltas, right? That or he's on the he's a big name on the board there, the Pokemon Insurgence boards. But either way, we've got Delta Lucario here. I haven't figured out how to unlock that thing, by the way. I know the trick is on the wiki. I wasn't interested in unlocking this Pokemon. Although I was kind of interested for a second because it can set Trick Room, and it is a dark ground type, which means it resists dark, and it does have Justified as an ability, which is even better, so that you can get a buff from using. I was thinking about using it as kind of like, instead of using Aromatisse, I could use that instead. But nah. Especially since it's just going to be another fairy weakness. Well, it's another fairy weakness when I use Amoonguss, which I'm always going to use Amoonguss because Amoonguss is just the best setter. You can tell I'm having issues trying to deal with this Darmanitan. I don't want to switch into Eevee because Eevee's just going to take an L there. Octillery works out for us. And then I'm like, what do I use here? It's a dragon. Nothing works. We can overheat this guy. I think it has Sturdy. Yeah, it does. Yeah, Sturdy is the enemy of all sweepers. Then, yep, finish it off with Mega Eevee. And yep, heal all the way up and get ready to face the Arena Master who is this Delta Golurk. And because it's only one Pokemon, it's actually pretty easy to handle. Just do whatever makes sense. I think I ended up losing a Pokemon to this. Maybe not. Yeah, no, I don't. I think that's Amoonguss' first actual finishing KO. But here's Delta Galette. You can catch it. You can catch it if it will fall asleep. Yep. And again, this is another fantastic Pokemon under Trick Room if you set it for him. So we're going to go ahead and get the Zero IV version. There we go. And we're ready to go. Brave Nature, all that good stuff. And yep, you'll see this is the end of the video. So again, if you've enjoyed this, I hope you've hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, that'll be it. Toodaloo. Enjoy this evolution sequence.